Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. We're live. Last live of the year. It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it. It's like, oh my goodness. You can see I've got lots of stuff set up. We're going to have a good time today. We've got donuts in the studio. Can you believe it? Jeff brought in donuts and we've already started. 2 are missing, but we won't talk about that. But look at these things. Aren't those amazing? Oh my gosh. They are like heaven. It's kind of like crack. You know, I ate one and you got to eat another and you got to eat another. It's just, oh my goodness, these are the most delicious things. So thank you, Jeff, because we had coffee and donuts earlier. I'll probably have coffee and donuts later. Not going to do donuts on air because watching me drool is probably not so good, but oh my goodness, they are so delicious. So it is the holidays, and we all eat things like sugar, and more sugar, and more sugar, and more sugar. I was watching Elf, the Christmas movie, the other night, and they were talking about the major food groups. Sugar, 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 sugar. And that's so true. Christmas time, the holidays, we do. It really starts around Halloween. Think about it, which reality then starts in September because you've got to buy the Halloween candy and then you eat it before you ever give it out. And then you have to buy more Halloween candy and then you keep eating it and it's a slippery slope. Down we go. So the donuts are part of our slippery slope, but oh my gosh. So thank you, Jeff. I do appreciate that. Sugar to go with my caffeine. Pretty fabulous. How are you doing today? Have you had a good day? Have you had a little bit of sugar? Have you had caffeine? Little tips to help you remember. If you're watching on your phone, if you turn it sideways, you'll get the larger picture. If the comments cover up and make you crazy, if you swipe it to the side, it puts it in silent mode, so you don't see the comments, but you hear me and you see the picture. Then when you want to see the comments, you swipe it back the other way so you can have the little bigger picture. If you're watching on a tablet or a laptop, you can go to full screen, get it even bigger. If you're on Instagram, then obviously you're vertical because that's the way we're filming. So yes, we've got the Facebook and YouTube group, and then we have the Instagram group. We'll try to get everything showing. And you might explore watching it different ways because it really does look different on the different platforms. I know it seems like it should be the same, but since one's vertical and 2 are horizontal, it's totally different. People on Instagram don't realize that I have all this stuff over here with magnolia and holly, both variegated and green, pine, cedar, juniper, pine cones, berries, all kinds of stuff over here. And then it keeps going with carnations and roses and eucalyptus and grasses and aspidistra and poinsettias, some vases set out. But I'll try to work here in the center so that you can see it without any problem. So no, there's your tips. Remember, if you've been with us before, you want to introduce yourself. If you're a first timer, that's one of the fun things about these lives. It's the collaboration with everyone. We collaborate with the Tulip tribe. So put your tulip in there so that they know you're part of the tribe. And let us know where you're from. Because that way you find out if you've got other members of the tribe nearby. And I invite you to talk with each other. Answer each other questions. Introduce yourselves. Get to know each other. Because this week, this hour, this time, it's all about you. And as we go into this last live stream, we're going to be talking about the tribe, talking about what you're doing, and I want to hear about what's been going on in your life. You can see we have Elphys up here. If you remember when Marisa and Carolyn did the last 2 weeks, and I was on the other side to see what that was like. Went ahead and kept it. And then we had the Grinch Christmas tree that Carolyn had made. You can see it's so cute. Get the moss off his little bottom. There we go. So Elphys, well, I think we're going to move you over here for a little while. We'll let you sit in the background. And then we've got our Grinch tree. You can see it's still beautiful. It's so much fun. We put a picture of it on Instagram and Facebook. It photographs so well. We put it with a blue background, picked that for the Pantone color of the year. It looked great. So we'll get that out of the way because we've got more things to make today. And we're talking about floral gifting, gifting for the holidays. And with me, I think every time that I think about floral gifting and what that means, I start with ribbon because a gift needs a bow, and I think that's so important. I think that's one of the things that makes it a gift is to have a bow. And whether you love or hate ribbon, when it comes to the holidays and gifting, a ribbon can make it so extra special. So I made some up already, and then I thought I'd make some to get started here, so I'll set this aside. It can be the traditional plaid. When I'm making a bow, I don't tear it off the spool because you don't know how much you're going to need. So I'm just going to start. Sometimes I'll start with a center loop, sometimes not. It just sort of depends on my mood. This time I'll do a center loop. Bring it in here. Now while I'm working on the bow, Carolyn, what's going on out there?
Oh, we have a very international crowd today, all the way to Australia. And we've got our usual Tulip tribe here, Tess from Sweden, Marmac. David, of course, is online watching us.
Hey, David. We got it all turned on.
We did it. Andrew, Roxy from one of our summer classes. And Marmac says she's done 40 plus Grinch trees. She's lost count.
Oh my goodness. Let's do a little shout out here. So Mar is in Toronto, I believe, and she did a pop-up this year along with her regular floral business. And so she actually set up a pop-up in a shopping mall is what it looked like. I saw the pictures of it and I thought that was so great. So she's been doing the Grinch tree, which that would be perfect in a shopping mall because it's a great grab and go gift. So shout out to Mara because she did fabulous with the pop-ups. And pop-ups are something sort of new and different in this world. Now, I shouldn't say new and different. I did a pop-up when I had a flower shop. We would do pop-ups for every holiday because you couldn't handle everything within your store. And so it was the ability to have a little more business by spreading it out a bit. And so we did pop-ups. And I always thought they were so much fun. And the thing that always made me laugh is people would come to the pop-up and they'd say, "Oh, I'm so glad you opened. That florist over there, they're so expensive." It was me. And the pop-up was me. And it was the same. But people just sometimes have negative things to say. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Then Roxy, she's from Arizona. And she came up into Portland again in November for the ninth moon. She came up to see the ninth moon exhibition and was sharing with me she's done amazing things with her store. She's opened a store and is really doing fabulous things. So shout out to Roxy. Good job on that. There's so many things going on. I think you said Tess was on with us from Sweden.
Tess was on, yeah.
So Tess, this is a little shout out to her. It kind of makes me excited. This ribbon, I'm going to do some extra tails, so I'm just going to cut this off ahead of time and save that. And another one, let's see, maybe I'll do this one. How big do I want it? I'm not going to do that one. I think I'll just do another little set. Anyway, Tess is in Sweden, and she just had the opportunity to do flowers. She worked with a team that did the flowers for the Nobel Peace Prize. How cool is that? The Nobel Peace Prize, the awards and dinner, she got to help work on the flowers. Is that not amazing? I am always just floored with the opportunities that the Tulip tribe gets to participate in. And it just makes me so dang happy for you. It's nothing better than seeing your students succeed. When you're a teacher, that's a big deal. Just watching people and their successes. Now, I made a list of people, and some of them I'll remember and some I won't. I forget sometimes, so I'll put my glasses on periodically and look at my list. But I'm sure there's many more. So if you had some fabulous success that you want to share, or an interesting experience that you'd like to share with the tribe, type it in there. Let us know, because we can't keep track of everything. And I would love to know what happened in your world this year. Because as we're doing our final live, we want to think about all the things that have occurred and what's gone on and how it has all fallen into place for you or not fallen into place for you, because it's sort of an interesting time. So I've got some bows made, so I think I'll stop there and get started on some flowering, but I wanted to make up some ribbons because I'll be using these as I go along, and just wanted to share with you that for me, when I'm working on flower gifting, the first thing I do is I start with ribbons, because every ribbon is part of a gift, and I think gifts need ribbons. I just like that. And then I picked this particular ribbon because it's so Portland. You know, the Portland plaid, it's just like, gotta have it. We are all over plaid and lumberjacks and the whole thing, you know, the Pacific Northwest vibe, so on trend. So I thought, well, that's kind of appropriate to work with today. So I've got some bows made. Then when I'm working on gifting, I think about longevity, things that will last for people so that they don't have flowers that are dead before the holidays are over. You want them to last well. Plus, when it gets to this point, because we're down to the wire here, Christmas is a week away. Next Wednesday is Christmas. Can you believe it? I mean, it's already here. It's like, oh my gosh, it's almost time. So you don't really want to end up with a lot of overstock, and you want to use up as much of the things that you already have. So when it comes to that last week, oftentimes I'll just gather up all my foliages so that I know what I've got, and try to make sure I use every little bit rather than buy more. Make sure that I use all of what I have so that I get the maximum return on my investment. And then flower-wise, many times I default to the classic, like the red carnations, because red carnations last forever. They just hold and hold and hold. They look good. They've got a little bit of fragrance. They are Christmas, and so I might buy 100 red carnations so that I'm ready to go with as much gifting as possible. And if somebody's looking for a low-end gift, a single carnation is going to be something that will last for them. I always make sure and go through and fluff them out so that they've got a little bit more color, a little more fullness. While I do some fluffing, a shout out to our team. We've got David watching from home, making sure that everything's working and letting us know if we forget something, like pushing the button on the camera or turning on the lights or changing the batteries or whatever it is. So the tech team is working off-site. I'm Leanne, and I get to be playing with the flowers. Then Carolyn's here with me in the studio watching what you type in, so that if you have questions or comments and want to share, she's reading it so that she can tell me and pass it on. This one's not very pretty. I'm not going to use that one. We'll set him aside. He looks like a sad carnation. Then we've got online with you Caledonia and Susie, and they are greeting you and answering questions and linking in as we need to so that you know what's going on around here. And I imagine there's quite a few more of the tribe that has popped in as we've gone along. So as you've got questions or comments and want to share, please speak up. And if somebody should be watching the floral gifting, share this video out, tag them, tag a friend. Let's get as many people on here for our last live of the year. And that way we can all be together and celebrate. You can see how pretty they are now. And when they're pretty like this, it can be as simple as just clustering them in your hands. Just pulling them tightly together and then angling as you go in and spiraling around, getting a very tight orb of carnations. And then just keep spiraling. And then when it seems like I've got everything lined up well, and I like the size. I cut them down a bit because you don't need all that length. Get rid of the stems. And then again, using bind wire. I use a lot of bind wire in the holidays. You may have noticed that I used bind wire when I tied the bows. That way I don't have to worry about taping the wire and having my mechanics show. I can just kind of bind wire it, twist it, secure it together. Little baby hand tie, spiraled stems. And then all I need to do is drop that right into a vessel. Maybe cut it down a little. Oh, no, I don't really need to cut it down too much. Maybe a tiny bit. And then just set it right in. And it's perfect for gifting to a special friend. It's just simple and easy. So the carnation's done as a hand tie, tucked in, and then the vase becomes a gift. If you don't like dealing with hand ties, if you like something a little bit more structured, you could use floral netting. And I just took a small bit of floral netting and then set it down in. And I'll be honest, there's no water in here. I probably should put a little bit of water in because I don't want my flowers to die. Because who knows, these might end up at my house to be gifted to friends in my world. Isn't that fun? You can just pick it up by the head. It's like, oh my gosh, just look at those. But once you have the floral netting in, then you can go back and just cut your carnations and set them. You don't even have to worry about tying because that will hold them in place. Even with it being a shallow little container, it works just fine, just nestling them down in. Carolyn, will I poke my carnations? Do we have more people on here?
We do, and lots of people are talking about their successes this year. Rick opened up several pop-ups in New York. Andrew delivered his first ever arrangement in hand-tone blue for a fundraising event for a congressman in his area.
Grand.
And John was asked to take over the floral department at work and loves it.
Congratulations, John. Oh my gosh.
Isabel has been designing flowers made to order and weddings, and Jacqueline became a floral assistant.
How grand is that? Don't you love it? The Tulip tribe is on the move. You guys are changing the world of flowers with all the things you're doing. So pop-ups in New York, the Pantone Classic Blue out to a congressman. How cool is that? Weddings and more. I am so proud of you all. I am just so proud of you all. I don't know if Heather's on with us yet. Heather is just promoted to managing a brand new store that they just opened. It's so exciting. And Heather is a graduate of our basic program and our advanced. She's a certified floral designer who went on then and did the online American Institute of Floral Design testing. So she's got her both FDI certification and CFD certification. This has been such a year for the tribe. It just has been heartwarming for me to see all that you have done. And the year's not quite over. What else is going to happen? You do have to kind of wonder. So I thought I'd do one more mechanics of the same type of thing, but instead of doing the little round, going with a more linear look, because anybody can make a little round. Well, not anybody. You know, once you start working, how difficult it is to actually have it mound correctly. Sometimes it's up like that, or it's over there. And you're like, no, everything has to be correct. The form has to be precise. The placement has to be precise. It doesn't have to have a certain count. It doesn't have to have all those things, but it must have the elements and principles, the proper form, the spacing, the texture, the line, the color, all of those things that we teach you in class. And the tribe obviously has been listening because their successes, you hear about this. I'm just so excited about you all. You know, it's been fun. We have many people who join us that then go on and they're teachers themselves. So Adam, I don't know if Adam's with us right now, but Adam is a teacher at the high school up in Alaska teaching floral design. Julie has a school here in Washington where she teaches floral design to the high schoolers. We've got more, and I can't think of her name right now, but she's back in Illinois teaching floral design. But we have so many of our tribe that go on to teach classes and workshops and such. We've got many that have been doing Christmas workshops. I've been enjoying seeing all the wreath pictures where you've had people into your flower shops or into your studios to create wreaths for the holidays. And I think educating the consumer, letting them enjoy the flowers, teaches them to buy more flowers. You know, some people complain that, oh, if you teach the consumer, then they won't buy. And that's not true. The more educated you are, the more knowledgeable you are about flowers, the more flowers you will purchase and keep in your life. So now I've got a variety of carnations here, and I'm just kind of looking at them to see what looks maybe the straightest. Because if I'm going to think about the elements and principles and do more of a design with these as opposed to a mass, then I've got to think about the line. So I've got to have nice straight stems. So this time I've gone on, so I did the hand tie, then I did the floral netting for alternative mechanics. This one I have floral foam so that I can do a more organized linear look, and I can bring it up, setting it in, and then thinking about the Fibonacci sequence. Our advanced students know about that. Bringing it down, maybe a little bit shorter. There we go. And then dropping it even further. Once you go into advanced design, that's where it breaks out, the hobbyist to the professional, because all of a sudden you have greater knowledge. You understand what it takes to make a design a little bit more detailed. Right now I've got line in here and I have spacing. And I've got sort of a form. I'm working with a vertical. It'll be a bit of a triangle. I don't have a lot of texture because I just have the one, so I can go back and add some texture. Color is going to be monochromatic right now with all red. And if I add the foliage, I'd still call it monochromatic, but technically it's complementary because red and green are complements. They're directly opposite of each other on the color wheel. It's kind of a nice little addition. Let's see here, maybe add a little bit of pine. If you saw the Tulip Tuesday tips that we sent out yesterday, you learned some techniques for making your pine and cedar and fir last a little longer. If you didn't see it, you can catch it at YouTube. Just type in Tulip Tuesday and you'll see all the different videos that we do in there. And it's all tips for the tribe. They're just little short clips, timely tips for the Tulip tribe that help you know what you need to know to be professionally successful in the moment. So it's just always kind of fun to check that out if you haven't already. Let's see what else. Maybe a little bit of cedar. Just got lots of odds and ends. You know, I told you that this time of year I try to gather my leftovers all into one area so that I know what I have, so that I use it up, and I don't end up with leftovers after the holiday that I've already paid for, because you want to make sure that you get all your money back that you've invested so that you have some profits to take you through the winter months until we get to Valentine's Day, when all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Too much fun. Now I know a lot of you are weddinging, and you know the weddings are year round now. It's kind of amazing. Used to be that it was summer months were the wedding months, but now you can really do weddings just about every single month of the year. I'm going to move this guy over. He's a little bit tight there, so I'm going to scooch him over this direction. I know Megan, one of our FDI certified graduates, She actually did 2 of the largest weddings that she'd ever done in her career. They were huge. They were enormous weddings. It was just amazing how big they were. And she actually had 2 huge weddings in 2 different states on the same day, to the point she actually had a private helicopter that was taking her from one to the other. Can you imagine a private helicopter to help you service your weddings? She hired so many people to come in and help. It was an enormous event, and it was fabulous. It was just, too grand. So that's what our tribe is doing now. They are really out there making a difference in the world of flowers. I'm going to bring in a little bit of holly because I think that variegation will make this more fun. Just cutting it down a little and then bringing it out to the side, making it a little bigger. So again, what are you doing? What have you accomplished this year? Are you doing something you love? I mean, that's the most important. Are you doing something you love? And if you are, how grand is that? That's all you can ask for. It's really all that any of us can ask for in this day and age, is to do something we love each and every day. Now, I left a little space here up at the top because I wanted to, as I told you, add a bow. Because again, I think everything needs a bow at the Christmas time holidays. So if I just take the ribbon that I had pre-made ahead with the extra little streamers, bring it around, tie it tightly underneath, come back and tie it again. And then bringing the ribbons down. So if you've got a question, type it in there. Carolyn's watching for you. She'll shout out to me. We have some other people that had some pretty exciting things in their life happening. Robin, a graduate from several years ago, she actually worked for me for a little while in my flower shop. And then she ended up working in a wholesaler. And then she ended up becoming the main flower buyer for a wholesale house. And she just took a job. She's working for Milano and Company, a flower farm in California, helping them. How cool is that? She works from home now, so she's able to stay with her animals. She lives out in the country where she's got a beautiful bit of property, and she's starting to grow things, and she's basically homesteading, so to speak, while she works for Milano and Company. How cool is that? It's interesting to me, all the different jobs that the tribe does, because there's so much opportunity. What do you think? Do you like these? Would you do this? Would this be a gift that you would do for a friend? You know, I try to do different mechanics, just like we teach in class. So some with foam, some with floral netting, some with a hand tie, because depending on your favorite styles and such, you want to be able to create in whatever style you like. It doesn't matter what is in style worldwide. It totally matters what's in style in your world and what you like to do. So if you like to do linear design, if you like to do hand ties, if you don't want to use foam, if you do want to use foam, we want to make sure we teach you all those things so that you can. So if you like it, tap your screen. If you think someone else should see this, please tag them, share the video. If you think Leanne should quit touching all the flowers, let me know. But I love touching them, and it doesn't hurt them. Some flowers you can't touch, but carnations, they like to be petted. They just think it's kind of fun, and I like to touch them. So that's what I'm going to do.
You're getting lots and lots of love.
Do you like those? Fun. I know I like them. I think those may end up having to go home with me just because I like them. They're fun. And they got my ribbon in there. And you can go a little further, and still sticking with the carnations. Bringing in a few more here. Maybe bringing in some different foliages to get a little different look. So I've got some aspidistra, nice broadleaf, some lily grass. So I've got some different forms. I could still use some of the variegated cedar, just because isn't that beautiful? I like the variegation on that. It makes it so much more interesting. When you add a conifer with a broadleaf, you start getting textures and the interest. And if you have taken classes with me, you know that I love to use a lot of different foliages. I strive for 3 or more foliages in every single design. And I think that makes a big difference. So then if I take these, and I'm just gonna make this quick and easy so that we can move on, because I've got some more things that I want to share with you, but I didn't want to skip this vessel. It's one of my favorites. It's out of my personal collection. People always say, where'd you get it? I have no idea. It's just one that I've collected over the years and was on my shelf. And I have to do a shout out to Marisa and Carolyn, because they spent this last week totally cleaning my prop aisle and organizing it, and it's beautiful. It's like, oh my gosh, I can find everything. Because, you know, it's easy to get messy, very easy to get messy. And so they went through and they cleaned it up, they organized it, they got rid of the garbage, they made sure that Leanne could find her things. And it just was delightful as I was pulling things together today, because I could just walk down the aisles and go, oh, look at that, oh, look at that, there it is, I had forgot I had that. And just pull my things and get ready. So I'm holding it just all in my hand, not really even a hand tie, just gathered it together in my hand, and then thinking about the length that I want, and then cutting them all at once. And then setting that in, letting them kind of relax in there. Get a few more. Amanda, oh my gosh, Amanda was so lucky. Oh, she is a graduate of ours, FDI certified. Also went on and did the full AIFD testing, and she is AIFD now. She got her CFD and her FDI working with us, and then went on and did the in-person testing for AIFD and achieved that as well. But this year, she was able to volunteer to work at the White House doing the Christmas decor. And they had a TV special on the Hallmark Channel, and they actually had her on the Hallmark Channel. She didn't get moved out of it. You know how sometimes they film things and then you don't get to see it? She was on it, and it was so cool. I mean, how grand is that? So Amanda, congratulations. To get to decorate the White House is such an honor. Such an honor. And the decor was absolutely gorgeous. I put a link to her story because she wrote a blog about working in the White House and what it was like to be doing the Christmas decor. And I thought she wrote that so well. It was very concise, very detailed about what it was like to do this. And so it is on our Facebook page, and you can go there and you could read about how it was to decorate for Christmas at the White House. And that was just too thrilling to see our graduate there, FDI certified Amanda at the White House. Oh my gosh. So that was kind of fun to hear about the Nobel Peace Prize with Tess, and then the White House with Amanda. I mean, our tribe, they're out there. And then I was thinking about Alana. Alana has started doing a lot of freelance work where she travels and does work for you wherever you happen to be. So have knife, will travel. How cool is that? A great way to see the world, to really get out and about, to participate in things. Oh, you know, my broom, this was Vivian. Vivian's in China. One of our FDI certified, also AIFD certified, one of our graduates. She was here, and came to do the exhibition at the Ninth Moon Floral Design Showcase. And then she brought me the brooms because she didn't like the way that I was constantly just wiping with my hand. She's like, no, that's not good. So she brought me the broom. Adding in the lily grass. Now I could do it just cutting it, placing it in, and then to get it to move a bit, maybe I'll bring it out this side. To get it to move a bit, I could run my knife down like so, giving it a little more softness. Drapes a bit. I could go back, add in the aspidistra, but that's kind of big and heavy. So instead I'll kind of tie it in a knot, turning it into almost a ribbon. Setting that down in. Maybe another one. You know, foliages, the manipulation, if you've taken the advanced class, you know that manipulation of foliages is something we do so much now. It's definitely on trend, and it gives you the ability to change the look of the item so that it gives it a more contemporary vibe. So many of our people now are also flower farmers, and in fact, gosh, Jeremy, he's expanding his farm. They're putting in more, and they've been hugely participatory with their local community, and in doing so, the community participates with them. They had farm tours all summer long, and they had yoga in the farm, and oh my gosh, they had so many things, but now they're expanding. They've got new plans drawn up to get more going. And then Chelsea, she's one of our flower farmer graduates, FDI certified. She actually bought a larger farm and relocated so that she's got more room to grow more flowers this next year. And how cool. You know, being a flower farmer, it's pretty special. You know, you think about farm to table with food, but why not farm to table with flowers? Pretty wonderful. Now I wanted to share with you a technique because sometimes, you know, this works, but maybe you want it to be a little bit more delicate. And so taking just a piece of cardboard, because I don't want to screw up my table, and then using a Kinzon, okay, so a pin cushion, frog, whatever you want to call it. And if you just take and press down and then pull, you can shred it out, get a little more delicate look, and then place that in. So then you get more variation on the foliages. I don't know where I learned that. I learned that a while ago, and I just thought, how cool is that? And I forget periodically to do it, and I'm like, I love that because it just changes the whole thing. Maybe you don't have bear grass and you wish you had bear grass, but you do have lily grass. Well, make your own. Let's see. It gives it a lacier look over the top of everything.
You're getting lots of love on that.
Isn't that fun? Now you guys everybody's got to go buy a pin cushion or a frog or a Kinzon, whatever you want to call it, so that you can go through and do some shredding. Now, I didn't have one, but if you've had, you know, the ribbon shredders, like you can get at craft stores, that works really fabulous too. So it's just a ribbon shredder, like at a craft store, whichever way. So flower gifting, back to that. I'm going to just set this over here and let's do some more. Are you ready? If you like it, tag a friend, share it. Let people know that the Tulip Tribe is busy today. Carolyn, as I'm pulling things, anything else I should be aware of out there?
Everybody's fairly quiet today.
Okay, people, speak up. I need to have you talk to me.
Christina did say she sold over 100 Christmas and winter wreaths this season.
Wow.
We've got lots of Valentine talk. People are a little scared of Valentine's Day. And Marmac had a great tip, is to make sure we take care of our hands during these busy times.
So true, because the foliages mess your hands up. A lot of people wear gloves, and I think that's a wise thing. I have not worked with gloves a whole lot, and I probably should, because as you can see, even just this little bit, they're starting to be kind of yucky, but oh well, that's life. So I'm going to do some fun things here, just a little bit. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Maybe I'll start with this guy first. So I wanted to do floral gifting that's relatively easy. So I took and just added different balls. They're not ornament balls. They're actually just orbs. There's no hooks on them. And I just piled them into the glass container. Can you tell if I've got any glare on that, Carolyn? Hopefully I've got it angled so that it's not glaring. If I'm glaring, let us know and I'll get it turned, but hopefully it just looks good there. And these are just balls I've collected over the years. I believe these two were maybe accent decor from years ago. And then these were my mom's. They were just some things that she had picked up somewhere at some time, not sure where. And I could stick carnations in there. I'll do one just because. But you know what? I'm tired of carnations. I did carnations already, so I don't want to do that again. Oh, my scarf is coming undone. Let's see. Let's move it around over here so I don't drag it into the flame of the candle. Can you imagine? Leanne's on fire! Oh no! That wouldn't be a good thing. So instead of the carnations, I thought I would do poinsettias. And those of you that have seen this in one of our videos already know that poinsettias work out really well as a cut flower. But you do have to treat them. And so what I do is cut the bloom, just like so. And then you'll notice it has the sap. And that's what you've got to stop. So you need to singe it by holding it over a flame. You actually need to burn it. And then set it down in. And it's a very slow water drinker. So this water tube would last easily more than a week. And the flower is going to last easily more than a week. They hold fabulously as long as you've singed them. If you forget to singe it, they're going to die, and that's not going to be good. But then you can just set that tube down in, again, singeing it. Make sure you don't burn the bloom. You don't want the petals to get burned. You just want the end of the stem to where you're actually cooking it. You can see how black that is. It's burned, it's singed. Then setting it down in. I'm trying not to throw these all over on the floor here, but still slide that in there. Maybe I'll take that one out. Take a couple of the outer ones out while I'm doing so that they don't fall anywhere. Carolyn, I'm going to singe another. What have you got there?
Cindy has a great question. Once the poinsettia is singed, can you use it in foam?
Yes, they work in foam, in floral netting, in plain water. You can design with them just like you would any other flower. You just got to make sure you singe it, then set it in, and then it will hold fabulously. It's just kind of amazing to me. I didn't realize how well they would hold. And now I've got, if you were at my house, you would see in one room we had these metal, steel, I don't know what kind of wood, metal it is. It's metal. And we had them build brackets. So it's a shelf and then a little bit of a ledge, and then it hooks to the wall. So that I've got 3 metal shelves that are longer than my arms, so maybe 7 feet long, I don't know, 8 feet long, but 3 of them. And I line them up with candles. And this year I put the poinsettias on there too. So just little vases of poinsettias. And they just are holding the entire season, looking fabulous. And I've just got them sitting in water there. I've never added water to them. They're just holding so lovely. So yes, you can do them in a vase. You can do them in foam. This one I want up a little higher, so I'm going to pull it back out. There we go. But keeping it into the tube. But you can see how easy that is to quickly make a gift that's really so fun. Now, if you've got poinsettias in your store that haven't sold yet, what a great way to finish out. Just chop them up, put them in your arrangement, sell them that way. So you still make money, and you are still giving the client something fabulous, but maybe they didn't want the plant this year. Maybe they just aren't selling, or maybe they're getting kind of scrawny and gangly. Cut off the good blooms, use them in design, and you're set to go. I'm going to blow my candle out so I don't start anything on fire. That would not be a good thing. So what do you think of that one? That was fast and easy, just poinsettias in the thing. I'm going to do another one with ribbon. Let's see. I was thinking about this one. And I placed a liner with foam. Okay. And this is what I saved these ribbons for, because I thought it'd be very easy just to put the ribbon across the top. Like so, and secure it in place with a dash. You know, this year, in fact, we're getting ready for it already again. I can't believe it. But this year, Bertha, who is another one of our FDI certified graduates, who also went on to get her CFD and AIFD. But last year, and again this year, she went to Pasadena and worked on the float building. I was so excited about that. She had called me and like, Leanne, do you know anybody that does that? And so I had connected her with some other friends of mine. And sure enough, she was able to go to Pasadena and work on the float building with Fiesta floats. And I was watching the parade and I'm like, oh my gosh, Bertha did that, how cool. So she's going again this year and going to be working on floats. So that's pretty grand. And I know that somebody else from the Tulip tribe, and I can't remember the name, is working for Phoenix Float Building this year. So she'll be down in Pasadena working with Phoenix Floats. Bertha will be with Fiesta Floats. And I'm sure there's more of you that are working on the floats, but that's kind of a starting point that I saw there. Carolyn.
I had another great question on the poinsettia. Do you singe the leaves as well? Because someone grows the foliage in their yard.
Any cut end you would need to singe, because if you don't singe it, it will bleed that white sap out. And that white sap has two problems. One, for some, if it gets on your skin, it can cause a rash and make you itch. And two, it shortens the life of the product. It will just die. And so yes, if you're using the foliage, when you cut it, singe it, and then work with it, and it'll be fine. But if you don't singe it, then it won't be fine. Guaranteed you've got a problem. So I got this put together with the U-glue dashes on the inside, and then maybe go with a part of a strip. And you know, the strips, when you cut them, they stick to your scissors. But if you have a titanium scissor, it won't stick. But if you don't have a titanium scissor in your possession right now, like me, I don't have one right here with me, you get your scissors wet. So I just put it into that vase, and you cut it with it wet. It doesn't stick. So I should use that for a Tulip Tribe tip. Shouldn't have showed you that now. I should have saved it for a tip, but now you know. If you get your scissors wet, that it won't stick. And then you can just put this right on and peel it off. And then I can take my ribbon, place that on there. Getting my whole Pacific Northwest plaid lumber feel to the whole thing. Giving it a little V on there. And we've got about 10 minutes left. So if you've got questions, or if you have accomplished something that you'd like to share with the tribe, or if you have a question for the tribe, you've just got a few minutes. Get it on there so that we can recognize you and bring it up and talk about it. I know, I don't know if Lisa's with us. She's so busy right now. She has catering an event, but Lisa had a very exciting time this year. She was, in addition to all of her weddings and events and all the catering and all the stuff that they were going on with, they did the flowers. Get this, they did the flowers for Pink at her concert. So they had a green room, you know, the green room with the stars. Oh my gosh, yeah, the terminology. So they did the flowers for the green room for Pink and got to deliver them to her. How cool is that? I mean, that's like just the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. And we had somebody do the flowers for J-Lo. Oh, yeah. And who knows what other flowers? You know, what did you do? I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know that person who did that. It makes me so happy. It makes me oh so very happy. So now I'm just tucking these in down low into the foam so that they hold. Cheryl opened a store this year too, and she's in a very small community, so it's a little tricky because in a community that's little, people are sometimes they're slow to embrace a new business. So I know that has been somewhat of a challenge, but she's doing well. And I'm so proud of her because this was a total different career for her. She switched out, found a new career, began it, and is doing great. So congratulations, Cheryl, on doing what you love, beginning a career, starting a business. It's brave. It's very brave. But the timing is good. It's in style to buy flowers now. It's in style to be a florist now. I mean, does being a florist go out of style? But it does. It comes and goes. Sometimes people are buying more flowers than others. And right now, flowers are very, very important. And people are buying more flowers than ever before, which means there are more jobs than ever before. People are starting more businesses than ever before, and our tribe is doing so. And then the tribe, in addition to starting businesses, are hiring people. So they get their business begun, and then they have to hire other tribe members, which is why I like you to introduce yourselves to each other so that you all get to know each other, because there will be a time that you maybe need help for your business or that you want to help someone else in their business. And you can. So I've got my carnations down in the box. And I can go back. And then when I take this to gift it to someone, then they open it. And they go, oh my gosh, look at that. And they will touch it too, just like I am, because that's what you do. The other thing we can do when you do these with the ribbons and such is go back and just glue in a bit more of the foliage. And this is where you can use up all your little tiny pieces, things that maybe are left over that didn't sell because you just didn't need it right then. Let's see, I don't want big pieces, I just want some little pieces here. There we go. Just a bit of glue. Tucking it in. Glue strings. And the hot glue will work just fine on this because you're not worrying about the flowers, living, and it's not flowers. The foliages will hold just fine. And because it's so textural with the ribbon and the foliage, it's not going to fall apart. You know, with temperature change, the hot glue will let go. You know, you've got to be a little careful there. But in this situation, it won't, because you've got the texture of the ribbon and the texture of the foliage that will hold it together, and it'll be just fine. So you don't have to worry about it. A little bit of the variegated in there. You've got a pretty fun Christmas gift to share with someone that they're going to go, oh, how cool is that? You know, as we're all thinking about our figures and dieting and such, and you go, oh, should I have a donut? Should I have candy? Should I have flowers? I'm thinking the flowers make it pretty perfect. So that works out so well for gifting, easy gifting. You can also do it with little things. Let me find a little more here. One gifting thing that I used to do when I was in retail with my flower shop that was really kind of fun is we would take and just bundle a little bit together. Okay. So again, the leftover little pieces that are too small to do something with, but still pretty. Maybe a little bit of the holly. Adjust these around a little bit so I get some in the front, some in the back. There we go. Then a tiny bit of bind wire to secure it together so it doesn't fall apart. And what we would do is we would sell these little tiny things little bit of ribbon. Always got to have ribbon because that makes it a gift. Little bit of ribbon. Just tie it around. Now, mind you, my flower shop was in an office building, so we had a lot of office workers that came down, and they were always looking for little gifts to use for a co-worker or a little something to make their own life better for the moment. So it was office workers, and so we would make these little guys up, leave the long streamers on it, fluff it out a little bit. There we go. And we called them Cubicle swags. And they could put them on their little office desk where they're hiding in their cubicle to do data entry or whatever. And we sold them as Cubicle swags. And we would sell dozens and dozens and dozens of these. And it literally was our odds and ends of leftover debris that we just tie together with a pretty bow and then sell it as a Cubicle swag, which was very fun. Now, if you don't have a cubicle, it becomes an adornment. And you can take it with the longer pieces of ribbon and then just tie it onto a bottle of wine or tie it onto a candle. And again, becomes floral gifting that makes it extra special. Find the front, there we go. Makes it extra special. And just tie a little bow in the back, so that you've got everything ready to roll to gift to all your friends. Maybe somebody needs a bottle of wine. Maybe somebody needs the perfect little orb of carnations. Maybe somebody needs something with a little bit more linear style. Maybe you want to do the poinsettias. Maybe you like the idea of the hat box and the flowers. So many different things that you can do. So many different ways to gift with flowers. So many things that you have the knowledge and the skill to do because you're part of the Tulip tribe. Isn't that exciting? Now, if you didn't let us know about what's going in your life, please do. You can send me a private message. You can send me an email. You can put it in the comments later. But I really would love to hear what's going on in your world. What are you doing? What have you done? What are you going to do? Because this is my last time to see you for 2019. I won't see you again until the new decade, 2020. Can you believe it? We're going into a whole new decade, a whole new time. And I'll be back the first Wednesday after the new year. I believe it's the 8th. We'll be back. We'll have so much fun again, live with you in the Tulip Tribe collaboration. But I'd love to hear from you between now and then. Just let me know what's happening in your world as you get out there and do something you love each and every day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.